Welcome to this review slash retrospective for Dynamite Headdy. And yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it and get a little bit of my thoughts on the game while it runs its little demo reel here in the background. And I guess let's go ahead and start with some of the more obvious things. So the graphics and sound. And I would say that, in my opinion, I think the graphics are really good, very colorful, and they definitely have that art style that I've come to expect from Treasure as a company. Now, granted, I haven't played a huge amount of games from Treasure. I played this game, Gunstar Heroes, and back in the day, I did play Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn. So it has that same artistic style, I would say, and I like it. It's definitely a good artistic style. So I think the graphics are really good. The sound, basically. Oh, son of a gun! Sorry, I didn't know you could get the health that way. Anyway, the the sound is really good. I wouldn't say it's my favorite soundtrack, but it's good. It definitely has that 90s platformer sound to it. You could probably say pretty much platformers in general have that kind of sound type, and so it's very similar to other platformer games. I prefer probably Guardian Heroes to this, or Guardian Heroes. Well, probably that one as well. I probably prefer the soundtrack to Gunstar Heroes over this one, but it's not bad. It's a good soundtrack. Just not my favorite type of music is all. So yeah, sound and video is good in the game. The control is really good as well. I will say that for the most part, the controls are actually pretty easy to get a hold of. Um, Not a lot to say there. Most of the power ups are actually pretty good. There, of course, are the ones that are designed to screw you over, like the one that has a big flame looking head. It's actually really bad, and you have that big, I don't know, like Man in the Iron Mask kind of thing where you can't do anything. So that one really sucks. And I will say that's probably one of the my least favorite things about the game is the fact that it has these power ups that can basically, they're not power ups, they're power downs, for lack of a better word. Um, and then, of course, the other one would be the sleeping one. That's kind of, pointless, really. But other than that, I think most of the other power ups are actually pretty decent. Like you see right here, the hammerhead, the one where you shoot in all the different directions, or the one that surrounds you with fire. All those power ups are actually pretty decent, and make the game enjoyable. Um, so I can't really fault it at all for power ups in the game, and so from that perspective, very good. Now, the one thing I think probably pretty apparent that I'm going to have to say, and I think pretty much anybody else would have to say, is the difficulty of the game is probably one of the bigger detractors to the game. I abused the crap out of save states in this. I'm not even going to mince words. I went through a whole bunch of save states just trying to get through all the stages. I mean, other than the first and second and fourth stages, most of these stages were just, tough as nails. That's just the best way of saying it. Actually, believe it or not, Act 9 wasn't really all that bad once I got the hang of the final boss. So Act 9, of all the later or all the difficult stages of the game, that was one I was probably able to figure out the quickest. And it wasn't too bad, all things considered. But I have a couple of links I'm going to add to the description to this video for people who want some walkthrough advice. I didn't really follow a lot of walkthrough advice. The main page I followed, I basically followed for the extra scene, the clues on how to get to the extra scene. And it does have a lot of other things that are really good for, getting all the secret bonus points, which make a lot more sense if you're trying to play this on, with an emulator via retro achievements like I did, and you get all the different achievements. If you're trying to play it on Steam, there's really only one achievement, and that achievement is super easy to get. It's literally just beat the Robo Collector in the first level, basically. So very easy to pull off. Not and that's the only. There's no other challenge or anything like that in the Steam version of the game, so you might as well play it via an emulator and get the retro achievements. But they do have a lot of achievements that I don't know if I like the game enough to even attempt them. Now, the second link I'm going to give you all, the only thing I went to there for is the cheat codes, because there is a cheat code to do a level select in the game, which, I mean, once again, outside of retro achievements, it could make the game extremely easy. Just go straight from, straight to the final stage of the game if you just want to see how the game ends. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of playing it, to be honest with you. But, if you don't want to sit there, if we were playing it back on the Genesis in the early days when you didn't have save states, and you said, okay, I got through stage 4. Let me just pick back up where I left off and try to do it that way. So I can understand why the level select is there. And even with the achievements from retro achievements, the stage select does work, and you're able to get past certain stages that you don't want to do again. Like, for instance, there's almost no reason to do stage 1 again. For instance, there's just no reason at all as far as the achievements are concerned. But another one of the cheat codes is to enable hard mode. And why? Why does that exist? I mean, this game is already exceedingly difficult as is. And hard mode is basically, you can take one hit. That's it. Game over. Holy crap, man. What kind of sadist wants to play that? And it's funny because on the first link that I'm going to give you all, they talk about the regional differences. So when this came out in Japan originally, the Japanese version is actually easier because it at least gives you 2 continues from the word go. So you don't have to earn continues in the Japanese version. Now, I don't know how difficult the actual game itself is, the original Japanese version, compared to what we got here in North America, but it's just a super difficult game. And then they add that hard mode on top of it. It's like, wow, you all are some sadistic sons of guns. that's the best way I could say of describing it. Would I consider the difficulty rage-inducing? That's a good question. Because the save states definitely do alleviate a lot of the difficulty questions surrounding the game. They truly do. It took me, probably about an hour and a half for some of the more difficult stages, give or take. So I did spend a lot of time in this game. The videos may not prove it otherwise, but I spent a lot of time in the game just trying to get through the stages, and then of course I would edit it after the fact. But I don't know. I don't feel like, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because it was very difficult. I can't say that it wasn't. The end game one where you had the big boss man and his two thugs throwing money at you. That was unnecessarily difficult. But hey, you had unlimited continues there, right? Unlimited continues for something that was way more frustrating than it needed to be. But yeah, and I felt like outside of playing this for achievements, I don't see any reason at all to even do that, you know, extra scene as they called it, because even the payout for it is like, oh look, there's a the end sign. Really? I just went through this crap for that? Because I mean, the basketball game itself wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly, it got a little frustrating there towards the end, trying to get 20, shots in basically. But it was just time consuming, and that was all. It was just time consuming. In fact, I'm even watching this demo reel. This demo reel looks like it's something like straight from Japan as well, because I could tell, like, I think they made the enemies more bullet spongy, for lack of a better word. So it just takes an awful lot of hits just to kill them. So they just ramped up the difficulty, kind of, I don't know, to be jerks, for lack of a better word, really. Um, and that's really the biggest thing about the game. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of people are going to take away from it, because the difficulty definitely impacts it severely. Um, like I said, save states do make things more palatable, but at the end of the day, it is definitely going to be one of those things that may be frustrating to a lot of players, or people who maybe not so committed or masochistic like I am. Other than that, I think it's a really good game. I wouldn't say it's my favorite treasure game. I definitely like Gunstar Heroes better than this one for sure. I and Gunstar Heroes also had pretty much unlimited continues, which didn't really detract from the challenge of the game, but it didn't make it as frustrating as this one. So this game, not super frustrating, but perhaps too difficult really for its own good. Um, Trying to think if there anything else I'd like to say about it. I've already talked about the regional differences, and yeah, other than that, I mean, like I said, this is one of those games you can get on Steam for 99 cents. I mean, definitely for that price, it's worth the price of admission. Definitely worth giving a try, I'd say, and just be prepared. Be prepared to get your rear end handed to you on many an occasion until you finally learn the the secret to getting by a lot of things. The bosses can be very difficult in some areas. Um, there's a lot of hidden secrets in the game if you're trying to get the achievements via retro achievement. And honestly, that really makes the game worth playing more, because outside of those achievements, I don't know if I would really think this game would be good enough for me to want to invest a huge amount of time in. So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I'd say for a final score, I'd probably give this about an 80, because that difficulty is just a little bit too brutal at the end of the day. Graphics and sound, perfectly fine and actually really good, but they just went a little overboard on the difficulty, at least for the North American release. I don't know if you can play the Japanese version of this game, and you know what? If you can, that might be that might be the way to do it. I play obviously the North American version because that's what I got via Steam, and yeah, it was definitely an experience. I'll say that. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.